Hi everyone, this is Stella and welcome back to Stellar Music Theory. Today we will go over Chapter 6 of Grade 1 in the new ABRSM workbook series, Discovering Music Theory. Chapter 6 is on scales. In this chapter, you will learn about the scale of C major, the degree of the scale, tones and semitones in scales, the scales of G, D, and F major. The scale of C major. A scale is a ladder of notes that move in step. It can go up, ascending, or come down, descending. A scale of a key contains all of the notes that belong to that key. We will learn more about keys in Chapter 7. C major is a useful scale to learn first because it has no sharps or flats. Here is the scale of C major, ascending, written in the treble clef. So here, we have a treble clef, and this is the scale of C major or C major scale. Let's take a look at the box on the right first. Did you know you can play a C major scale by playing up or down the white keys on the piano, starting and ending on C. Since in the scale of C major, there's no sharps or flats, meaning there are no black keys. So if you start on a C on the piano and you play all the way up to the higher C, that's a C major scale in ascending order. Or you can play from a C and you go down by step all the way to the lower C, then you will have a C major scale in descending order. So back to this C major scale here, we start with this note, which is on the ledger line, and that is middle C. And if we go up a step, we will go to the D, up another step to the first line, that will be E, F, G, A, B, C. Scales can start on any note, and it will always go back to the note that you start with, either going up or going down. Here, we start with C, so we will end on C. Exercise 1. Add one semi-brief at each place marked with an arrow to complete these scales of C major. What is a semi-brief? The semi-brief is the oval that indicates 4 counts. So in each place marked with an arrow, we're going to add in a semi-brief in the right place on the staff. Question A, we have a C major going in descending order, which means going down the ladder. The first thing we can do is to write out the 7 alphabets in music. They are C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and now we're going to repeat C. Since we are going in descending order, we will be going down like this. Question A is in treble clef. The first note is a C in treble clef. Second note is a B. B is here. So if we keep falling down, the next note would be an A. So we write A here. And A would be in the second space on the staff. Then we have a G, F. After F, the next one is E. Let's write down E here. And E will be on the first line of the staff. From E, we will fall down to D. D would be below the first line. And finally, we end on middle C. The degrees of the scale. The notes in the scale are known as degrees. The first and last notes of an ascending or descending major scale are the same, though they are at different pitches and are the most important. They are the most important because that's the starting and the ending note. They are called the tonic or key note. All the degrees in the scales are numbered in relation to the tonic, which is the first and the 8th degree. In a scale of C major, the note D is the 2nd degree, E is the third, and so on. Remember that in a descending scale, the degrees will count backwards, so this is quite important. Let's take a look at the box here. Let's go up in ascending order first. The first note is a C. That's the starting note, and the starting note is the tonic, or the first degree. Actually, each degree has its own name, but for this chapter, we will learn just the tonic. So if C is the first degree, D would be the second degree, E would be the third degree, F would be the fourth degree, G would be the fifth degree, A would be the sixth degree, B would be the seventh degree, and we go back to C, which is the tonic again. This time it's the eighth degree because they are not the same C. They have different pitches. Now if we go in descending order this time, which is going down, we will start with the tonic here, or the eighth degree. Falling down, the B would be the seventh degree, A would be the sixth degree, G would be the fifth degree, F is the fourth, E is the third, D is the second, and back to C, which is the first degree or tonic. Theory in sound. Sing the scale of C major ascending to the numbers 1 to 8 starting with 1. Can you also sing it backward, starting with the top note 8 and going down? Exercise 2. At the named degree of the scale of C major, the tonic C is given each time. What we can do here is to write out all the notes in a C major scale starting on C. So we have C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. You can write down the degree under the letter name as well, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's go back to question A. We are in treble clef. The first note is given. It is middle C, and therefore it will be the tonic in C major. The second note, they want it to be the fourth degree of C major. The fourth degree is here, which will be F, and F is in the first space. Question B. Again, we are in treble clef. We start with middle C, which is tonic, and this time they want you to write a note which represents the sixth degree in a C major scale. Sixth degree will be A, and A is in the second space, so we will draw a semi-brief there. Next, tones and semitones in scales. In chapter 4, we have talked about what tones and semitones are. Semitones is the closest distance or the shortest distance between two notes, and tones means two semitones. The distance between each note in a major scale is either a tone or a semitone. The pattern of tones and semitones is the same for all major scales. So it's like there is a formula for all major scales, and we'll talk about that formula in a minute. The distance between the third and fourth degrees and the seventh and eighth degree is a semitone. And the distance between all other consecutive degrees is a tone. If we look at the box on the right side, here are the notes of the C major scale shown on a piano keyboard. So let's look at this part first, which shows all the notes in the C major scale, starting with C, D, E, F, G, A, B, back to C. Up here, we have degrees. We already know that if C is the beginning note, is the tonic or the first degree, then D is second degree, E is third degree, and so on. Now at the bottom here, we have tones or semitones. So here we see some T and some S. This is actually the formula for major scale. The formula is T, T, S, T, 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 S. T stands for tone, and S stand for semitone. This formula shows the relationships between consecutive notes in a major scale. So let's start with C, which is the first degree. So from C going to D, or from the first degree going to the second degree, they are a tone apart because there is a black key in between C and D. Then from D going to E, or the second to the third degree, it will be a tone apart as well because there is also a black key in between these two white keys. Next, from E going to F, or the third going to the fourth degree, we have a semitone because there is nothing in between these two white keys. Then from F going to G, or the fourth degree going to the fifth degree, there is a black key in between, so it will be a tone. From G going to A, or fifth degree going to the sixth degree, again, there is a black key in between them, so it is a tone as well. From A going to B, which is the sixth degree going to the seventh degree, there is also a black key, so it's also a tone apart. And lastly, from B going to C, or from the seventh going to the eighth degree, since there's nothing in between these two notes, it will be a semitone apart. So the TTS, TTTS just shows you the distance between consecutive notes. And this formula here applies to all major scales. So if you remember TTS, TTTS, or just remember that the distance between the third and fourth degree will be a semitone, S, and the distance between the seventh and eighth degree will also be a semitone, S. Exercise 3, write T or S above each bracket to show whether the distance between the notes is a tone or a semitone. Smart tip, write the degree number of each note to help you work out the pattern of tones and semitones. So what we can do is to first write out the formula of a major scale, and it will be a T, T, S, T, 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 S, where this is degree 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Question A, we're in bass clef. We're working on C major, so the first note is always C. So C would be the first degree. We can write 1. Then this will be 2 because we are going up in ascending order. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And you will notice that this is middle C, which is the tonic. Then falling down, we have 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, which brings us back to the C we start with. So for the first bracket here is already done as an example. The distance between 1 and 2, which is here, is a T. Then for the next bracket here, the relationship between 4 and 5, which is here, will be a tone, so we will write T. Next bracket here, the distance between 7 and 8 degree, which is here, is a semitone, so we will write S. Next bracket we have 6 to 5, or 5 to 6. So 5 to 6 will be here, which is a tone. Last bracket, we have 4 to 3, or 3 to 4. So 3 to 4 will be here, and that will be a semitone. Next, the scales of G major, D major, and F major. The scales of G, D, and F major all follow the same pattern of tones and semitones as C major. Here, an F sharp is required in G major. So we need an F sharp in G major to make the pattern of tones and semitones correct. Without the F sharp, there would be a semitone between the 6th and 7th degree. not the 7th and 8th degrees. And in D major, two accidentals, F sharp and C sharp, are needed to keep the same pattern of tones and semitones. In F major, we need a B flat to keep the semitone between the 3rd and 4th degree. I have added a keyboard here so I can explain each of the scales more clearly. So let's start with G major scale ascending. We are in treble clef. If we are in the scale of G major, we must start on G. So the first note, or the tonic, must be a G. The second note will be A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. Now here, we have the pattern or the formula of a major scale, which is T, T, S, T, 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 S. Let's start with the first note, which is G. So if we are going in ascending order, the first note will be G and the second note will be A. Let's take a look at the keyboard up here. This is G and this is A. Now in between G and A, there's a black key, so it is a tone apart. Next, from A going to B, here we have A going to B. Again, there is a black key in between them, so it is a tone which follows the pattern of a major scale. Next, B going to C, so this is B going to C. There's nothing in between them, so it's a semitone. Next, C going to D, from here to here. Again, there's a black key in between them, so this is a tone. Then next, D going to E, which is here. D going to E, there is a black key in between them, so this is also a tone. Now, and you notice that we don't have any more notes on the piano, so let's go down to the lower E to continue. So here we have E going to F. Now if we go from E to F, you will notice that there's nothing in between these two notes and it's a semitone apart, but we want a tone here. So what we need to do is to make this gap bigger by moving the F up to this note, which is F sharp. So that's why in G major there is a F sharp. And finally, from F sharp to G, so this is F sharp and this is G. Notice that there's nothing in between them, so it's a semitone apart and it follows the pattern. So in order to have a tone here between the 6th and the 7th degree in a G major scale, we need to add a sharp to the F. Let's move on to D major scale ascending. Let me quickly erase all of these. We are in treble clef. In the scale of D major, the first note is a D, or the tonic is a D. So this is D, going up to E, F, G, A, B, C, and end on D. Now again, this is the formula or the pattern of a major scale, which is TTS, TTTS. Let's start with D. So from D going to E, let's find them on the piano. So this is D going to E. There's a note in between them, so they are tone apart. Next, from E, if we go to F, now this is E, this is F. E going to F is just a semitone, but it needs to be a tone in order to follow the pattern of a major scale. So what we need to do is to make the gap bigger by moving the F up to the F sharp. So this is F sharp. That's why this, the 3rd degree here, is an F sharp. Then we have F sharp going to G. Now from F sharp going to G is a semitone apart, so it follows the pattern. Next, from G going to A, G is here, A is here. This is a whole tone, so it follows the pattern as well. A going to B, This is A, this is B. There's a black key in between them, so it's a tone. Then B, if we go to C, now this is B, this is C. The distance between B and C is only a semitone apart, but we need it to be a tone. So what we can do again is to move the C up to the black key here, which makes it a C sharp. So that's why we have a C sharp here. And in between C sharp and D, now this is C sharp and this is D, there's nothing in between them, so it's a semitone apart. So in order for D major scale to follow a major scale pattern, TTS, TTTS, we need to change the F to a F sharp and the C to the C sharp. Next, F major scale ascending. So again, I'm going to quickly erase everything first. This time, we're in the scale of F major, so we must start on F. This starting note is F, going up to G, A, B, C, D, E, and end on F. Now again, this is the formula, TTS, TTTS. Let's start from the beginning. The distance between F and G, this is F and this is G. There's a black key in between them, so they are a tone apart. Then from G going to A, again this is G, this is A, there's also a black key in between them, so it's a tone apart. Then from A going to B, this is A and this is B, there's also a black key in between them. So the distance between A and B is 1, 2 semitones, but we want it to be a semitone instead of a tone. So what we can do is to shorten the distance. So instead of going to B, what we can do is we move the B up. Let's erase this. So we will have this going up here. We will have a B flat instead. So therefore there's a B flat here. Then from a B flat going to a C, so this is the B flat and this is the C. 1, 2. There are 2 semitones or tone, so it's T. Next, from C going to D, C is here, D is here, black key in between, so it's a tone apart. D going to E, this is D and this is E. There's a black key in between them, so it's a tone apart as well. And finally, E going to F. Now, as you can see, there's no keys here, so I will use the lower E going to F. This is E, this is F. There's nothing in between them, so it is a semitone apart. And therefore, in the scale of F major, there is a B flat. Exercise 4, write the name of each scale and take either ascending or descending. Question A, we're in treble clef. Now this is very easy. In order to find the scale, all we need to know is the starting note or the tonic. So if we are in treble clef, the first note is on the 4th line, it will be a D. And the ending note, of course, it will also be a D. Obviously, this is in the key of D major with 2 sharps, the F sharp and the C sharp. And since the scale is going down this ladder, it's in descending order. Exercise 5. Add accidentals where needed to make these scales correct. On the box here, it says remember. Now this is something that you have to remember in order to understand all the scales for the exam. G major has 1 sharp, and the sharp is F sharp. D major has 2 sharps, and you will notice that it's F sharp plus C sharp. So later on, you will understand that F is always the first sharp, followed by C sharp, and so on. F major has 1 flat, and is a B flat. Question A, G major in descending order. We are in treble clef. The first note must be a G because we are in G major. The ending note is also a G. And G major has one sharp. The sharp is an F sharp. So all we need to do is to find F and add a sharp next to it. The second note is already a sharp because G falling down to F. This is where the F sharp is. So you will put a sharp in front of the note. Exercise 6. Circle the correct answer for each question. Question A. Which note is the fifth degree of G major? So we can first write out all the notes in G major in ascending order. So they are G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, and G. So which note is the fifth degree? G would be the tonic or first degree. A would be the second degree. B would be the third degree. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The answer would be D. Exercise 7. Show the semitones in each of these scales by drawing brackets over two pairs of notes. The first semitone is given, which is here. So what we can do is write out the formula of a major scale. Let's write down the degree first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And in between 1 and 2, we have tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. So the semitone are between degree 3rd and 4th, and also 7th and 8th. Now let's go to question A. We are in F major descending, meaning falling down. So the first note must be F, the ending note must be F as well. What we can do is to write down the degree, starting with 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And in between 7 and 8, we have a semitone, which is here. The answer is given already. And the second pair of semitone will be in between 3rd and 4th degree, which is here. This is the end of chapter 6. I hope you find my video useful. If you like my video, do subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'll be posting new videos regularly. Stay tuned and see you next time.